If you are experiencing foundation issues, get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
Welcome back to Daybreak Live, final half hour of the show on this New Year's Eve, the 30th day of December. Currently 48 degrees in downtown Sylacauga. We're privileged to have with us Republican candidate Ben Robbins, running for the State House, District 33. And Ben, good morning to you.
Good morning, Jimmy Dale.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year Eve.
Yeah, there you go.
You.
There you go. For those who may not know you, who is Ben Robbins?
Well, I'm a Christian. I'm an attorney. I'm 38 years old. I'm married, and I have a 7-month-old baby. So I'm born and raised in Talladega County. I like to tell people I'm a 7th-generation Talladega County resident. So I guess my son now is an 8th-generation Talladega County resident. I went to Talladega High School. I practice law in Talladega. I live in Sylacauga, and I'm a East Alabama, Talladega County person through and through.
Yeah. What's it like being a new father?
It's exciting. It was an exciting Christmas this year, except, he liked the paper more than the toys. But it was exciting to have, Christmas with a baby this year.
Now, you're not a newcomer to politics either.
Not really. I've run before, but so this will be my second time campaigning.
Yeah. Let's talk about the State House race, special election coming up January the 19th. And, none of us would have wanted this scenario to play out.
No, none of us would. I don't know if people are aware, Ron Johnson, who served our area, our state, with integrity and honor for years, passed away in July. And because of that, according to the Constitution, the governor had to call a special election to fill the remainder of Representative Johnson's term. And so that's what I'm running for, is the remainder of Representative Johnson's term. And as I mentioned, none of us would have wanted this. And I tell people, if you vote for me on January the 19th, I hope that I can do half what he did in constituent services. And by that, I mean, if people have an issue, the way he would respond if he got calls, or would help people out in times of need. I told someone, if I do half as good as he did, people would say, well, he's probably the best in the state at it. So I hope to continue that legacy of Representative Johnson's.
District 33 is kind of spread out a little bit.
It's very spread out. It is parts of Talladega, parts of Coosa, and parts of Clay County, but it goes all the way from Mella Valley to Alpine to Kellyton and Weogufka, so it's a big area to cover. And
the COVID pandemic has kind of changed the playing field of how we might campaign.
It's definitely changed the playing field. We were talking before we came on air that there's not the large events and gatherings like there typically are, so you can't go to the luncheon and talk to 50 people and give a campaign speech. That's just not happening. So I'm very appreciative of you giving me this opportunity to speak to voters directly, since I've not been able to have the opportunities like you normally would.
What are some of the issues that you see that need to be addressed once elected?
I see that our area, there's several issues, but the main issue is all kind of tied together. Is I feel like we need some economic development and economic growth in our area. If you look at us compared to our surrounding counties, we have kind of fallen down the economic scale on any kind of economic indicator. Our poverty levels are higher than, whether it's Shelby or St. Clair, we're higher than those in Talladega, Coosa, and Clay. And I think that we need to focus on the state level and locally on economic development. And I think there's two ways to do that, and two things that I would really like to address. And that the first one is workforce development. And that means we need to focus more on not just college ready, but on career ready. Because not everyone is going to go to college, and we have a lot of need here in this area for skilled workers. And to do that, we need to restructure and make sure their education system is training people for being career ready. And that needs to be from the community college system down to the high school and even junior high level. The second thing that I think we need to focus on is infrastructure. And that's roads and bridges. But in 2020, it's also rural broadband, and that's internet accessibility. I think anybody can tell, speaking of COVID pandemic, how important it is to have internet access in 2020. We need children to be able to do their homework when they go home, and we need to be able to access the internet and do our homework. But also for economic development, we need to have internet accessibility in all parts of our district so business will move there and you can grow businesses in those areas.
Where are some areas of District 33 weaker with internet access?
Clay County. For instance, Clay County at this moment, 55% of the county is without reliable internet. So that means that the majority of the people that live in Clay County do not have reliable internet, according to the standards set by the federal government. So, I mean, that's a major issue. And actually, people might not realize it, but 25% of Talladega County is without reliable internet. I'm very supportive of what Coosa Valley is trying to do in terms of bringing internet down to Fayetteville. They're trying to bring internet to Fayetteville and into the Hollins and Millerville area. I think that would be great, but it's just the start, and I think we need to work harder and create some partnerships between the government and entities like Coosa Valley.
A number of people watch us down in Coosa County and Stewartville and Wegovka and areas like that. I know you want to speak to them this morning too.
Right, I do. I mean, and the same thing we just talked about, internet is a major problem in Wegovka and in Stewartville. And I'm sure all the parents there in Wegovka and Stewartville have seen the issues that they're having to deal with in terms of having to drive their child somewhere to do their homework or do their schoolwork while the schools were closed back in the spring. But also in terms of Wegovka and Stewartville, it's some of the prettiest parts of the state. And I want to make sure that we maintain the beauty of that area. And I think that there's some other opportunities in Coosa County for tourism from whether it's Flag Mountain tourism or it's just Lay Lake itself. But there's a lot of opportunities in Coosa County that I'd like to see tapped into.
And of course, we're doing this show in Sylacauga, which is a part of Talladega County, and Talladega County is one of the bigger counties of the three. And I know this morning that there's a lot of interest in replacing Ron Johnson because he's been very, very informative and very, very open and helpful in Talladega County.
He has, and I would like to follow the same lead of Representative Johnson in that way. I mean, he gave his phone number out to anybody that wants it. I mean, my phone number, if you ever need me, I'll just give it to you. It's 205-907-5091. So at any time you can call me and I'll try to help you or at least point you in the right direction as he would. And he was very open to not just the people in Talladega, but the people in Coosa and to Clay. And I hope to continue that same availability and accessibility to all the constituents, because that's important. Because I'm interviewing right now for this job. I'm asking all of you to hire me on January the 19th as the Republican, and I'm asking that out of you, and in return, I need to serve and represent you. And so with that, feel free to call me because I want to be open and be ready to work for you.
A lot of senior citizens in the Tri-County area too. Speak to that this morning of how you want to help them, the senior populace.
Well, there are a lot of seniors in the area, and I think there's several ways we need to address senior issues and how we need to make sure that seniors are taken care of. We need to make sure that, it's on the federal side, but we need to make sure Social Security is taken care of and any benefits that people receive from the state or federal government. I want to make sure we don't do anything to harm those benefits. And on the other level is I firmly believe in the rising tide lifts all boats. If we can grow our local economy, that means more tax revenues are coming in, which means more money and benefits can flow out to our senior citizens to protect them and make sure they're well taken care of. And we need to make sure that we have a strong healthcare system in our area. Senior citizen, when I talk about broadband and internet, that also allows you to do telehealth visits where senior citizens that live in remote areas, whether it is somewhere out in Coosa County, could access a doctor through their internet. But also, we need to make sure that our citizens don't have to travel long distances to go to the doctor. So we need to make sure we keep a strong healthcare system right here in the district.
You are a young man, relatively speaking, and have a lot of energy and bring a lot of fresh ideas to Montgomery for the District 33 area. As a Christian, and at the top of the show, Ben acknowledged that he was a Christian. How does that fit into your lifestyle, being a Christian?
I would say, the main reason that I'm running is directly responsible, or my Christian faith is directly responsible for me running for this office and me wanting to serve our community and wanting to serve the state. It places a burden on my heart that I feel like I have certain attributes that can help our district. And I feel as if I have a passion, and I feel that's almost been placed on my heart to do these things. And so I want to pursue this not just because I want to make our area grow in terms of, I keep talking about economics, but I also want us to make sure that we maintain our Christian values. And on top of that, I think that, I want to make sure that every citizen in our area is prosperous and we can prosper together. And I think the only way to do that is the only way I can help is going to Montgomery and working hard for us.
Yeah. Ben Robbins, who's candidate for the State House, District 33 in the special call election on January the 19th. And since Governor Ivey called for the special election months ago, you've been on the ground running.
I have. I think, or I've said this before, that I think, some of our problems that we've gotten into, they didn't happen overnight. So it's going to take a lot of energy and a lot of energy and just kind of stick-to-itiveness. And that's something that describes me. I'm ready to get to work for, Talladega, Coosa, and Clay counties, and I'm going to work hard for our district in Montgomery, and that's what it's going to take. So I'm very excited about the opportunity, and I just hope that I can have everyone's vote on January the 19th so I can get to work for us.
When elected on December 19th for the State House District 33, how does one not get caught up in the good old boy syndrome in Montgomery? Well,
I think that there's several ways. One, you've got to make sure you stay focused on what your job is. And my job is not to be a Montgomery good old boy. My job is to represent the people of District 33. And that means that it doesn't matter how an interest group tells me to vote. It's about what the people of District 33 and what we need, and what we need in terms of infrastructure, what we need in terms of healthcare, what we need in terms of senior benefits. It's not about what Montgomery tells me to do. I want to represent us. And so that's one way you stay out of the Montgomery good old boy system. And another is that you just got to, like I talked earlier, you have conversations like this, and I gave my phone number. People can call me and discuss with me the way they feel about an issue, because that matters more to me than what any person in Montgomery tells me, is how you feel and how you view an issue, because that's what it's about. It's about making sure that we are represented and that we grow as a community. Even with the limitations of COVID-19 face-to-face with people, what are some other topics that some of the people, potential voters in District 33 have mentioned to you? I think there's this past year, you talked about COVID has been an issue that a lot of people have talked about. A lot of people also discussed law enforcement and supporting law enforcement, which I obviously support law enforcement and want to make sure that our laws are upheld, and that we make sure that we always properly fund our police departments, our sheriff's departments, and that, and we do not defund the police. Those have probably been the two biggest issues I've heard. What about the roads in District 33? Well, our roads definitely need some work. I don't know if you've seen, there have been some paving projects out there, but I think there's more that needs to be done, and that's something that I want to work directly with the county commission on, to make sure that some of the roads in District 33, whether that be Clay, Coosa, or Talladega County, are paved and they're up to the standards that we need, because as I mentioned before, for economic growth and new industry, you've got to have reliable roads. You've got to have reliable roads and bridges so goods and people can be transported. And so unless we have those things, we're not really going to grow. So I'm going to always keep an eye on how we can be better than what we are today.
Last 60 seconds with Ben Robbins, candidate for the State House, District 33, Republican candidate in the special call election on January the 19th. Speak of the last 60 seconds to potential voters why they should elect you on January 19th.
There's many reasons, but the main reason is that what Jimmy Dale discussed. I have fresh ideas and I have energy, and I'm a Republican, and I'm ready to go to work for you in Montgomery. And it will be important that we maintain, as Republicans, this seat as a Republican seat. And it's going to be very important. The only way I can work to represent you is if you vote for me on January the 19th. I'm expecting a low voter turnout, so every vote is going to matter. And I would appreciate everyone's support on January the 19th. Thank you so much.
Ben Robbins, candidate for State House District 33, Republican candidate in the special called election by Governor Ivey on January the 19th. Ben, always a pleasure and good luck.
Well, thank you so much.
More Daybreak coming up right after this.